On this week's Minute of the Apes, we're going to run along and play.
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
You're the secret of the divine bomb.
The only good human is a dead human! There is fire, there is smoke.
The minute of the apes. The minute of the apes. The minute of the apes. The minute of the apes.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time. I'm Todd. Playing in that corner was Richard, and is there some other guy on the line? I don't know.
Hello.
Hey, Sean, how
Your
are you?
next door neighbor. How's it going?
That was kind of a creepy voice. If my daughter was here, she'd be like, ooh, that's just wrong. How is everyone?
It's been a minute. We've survived some weird things, but yeah, we're doing good.
Yeah, I figure for this week's in between, we're going to have to kind of tell everybody, it's with the COVID thing that stopped us down. We've always had these things. I think the only movie that we ever kind of almost went straight through was maybe the first one. But This one has been a hot mess because we just survived the weird Dallas area, Texas
Power outage,
snow-pocalypse.
down.
And
Texas grid power failure,
Yeah.
all that madness.
so,
2021 saying, hold my beer.
yeah, I've actually had some people during this time, hey, when's the next movie coming out? And I'm like, well, when can we get consistent power? When can we all get the COVID shot? When can we do this? It's been pretty crazy. But with that in mind, why don't we get into minute 16? Sean, you want to tell us what's going on with that?
We're going to start minute 16 with Cornelius agreeing he could study, and ends with Caesar contemplating killing evil to do good.
All right, let's take a listen to minute 16, Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
I could, Father, but
Run along and play.
where are my students? I was just in the midst of explaining my theory of time relativity. If Caesar permits, I would like more.
Caesar permits.
Thank God.
You look concerned, MacDonald.
I am, Caesar. I think that all those hatred is not confined to humans.
Look out!
I think Aldo may be riding for a fall. Oh, if only my mother and father, whom I was too young to remember, if only they'd lived, perhaps they would have taught me if it was right to kill evil so that good should prevail.
Uh-oh, I lost Sean.
Sorry, I was muted, sorry.
Okay, so just take it from and...
As of minute 16, we have a village worth of apes and humans at least.
I have to start discussing this minute by saying I think I've already found the soundbite that may go into the theme song for the next time when McDonald does a "Look out!" It just is begging to go into a rock anthem type song.
Look out!
It's so emphatic. All right, so we've got a bit of a parenting moment here.
I like Cornelius's counter argument to get out of studying of, but...
Yeah, there's the but, and I also I love Cornelia. I'm sorry, I love Caesar's sort of passive parenting. Mm-hmm. I've never once in the 18 years I've raised a child gotten this look on my face. Mm-hmm. And for those of you who haven't seen the movie in a while, go look at
it. So the thing that kind of sets off this first part of the minute for me was that we get Cornelius asking Caesar permission and Caesar granting it, and then we have Virgil asking for permission to leave and Caesar granting that. So there's this kind of like he's clearly the one in charge of everybody. Everybody has to seem to bow down and maybe that's too extreme of a word, to Caesar. Caesar is the one who's making
Defer to him,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's the one in charge, and it's even the intellectuals are having to kind of get his permission to do things.
I found that
Virgil's got to get permission to go talk about time travel some more.
I found it kind of weird at first. I thought, why do we have to ask if Caesar permits? And then I thought, okay, take that back. What are they trying to do? And it's kind of this nice referential. We look to Caesar. Is this okay? Is this what you want? And that's kind of what I think they want us to believe. But at the same time, it's oddly,
Well,
this.
I mean, it's almost like they're making him royalty, because if you're in the presence of the queen, you don't leave until you're dismissed. You don't turn your back on her and stuff like that. They have protocols, so they might, he is their king. So if I'm gonna leave, I've got to ask permission. I'm not just gonna fuck off.
Without the structure of because we really didn't establish. We've got Aldo riding around horses, but we didn't establish a guard or perimeter like the script kind of suggested at the beginning. We just have Aldo kind of running in and going to class. And then we have these outdoor classrooms. And then we have no sense of structure of government outside of what Caesar permits. So it almost feels cult-like as opposed to governmental or organized. Like there's this cult kind of establishment. That's what it makes me think of.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, especially with all the weird cult TV shows I've been watching during the pandemic. I think you're right on board with that.
Same. Yeah, that's probably where it's coming from. Thinking about those shows, living out in the woods and, not having any type of structure, and then having your scientists and your thinkers bowing down to one particular person for permission. And it was just a weird structure.
It's a weird structure. And then we have Aldo all but trying to run down Caesar. So right from the top of this movie, they're letting us know that there's a split, there's a fracture of some sort, that those who are aggressive for some reason feel like they need to protect and do whatnot, and Caesar's being passive.
Not only that, but Aldo is directly challenging the theory of ape must never kill ape, because if he ran over Caesar at that point, he would have broken that law.
Well,
he would have murdered him.
I obviously, that's going to be a huge theme in this movie. It's going to be, it's weird to me that they don't have any reason to have introduced ape shall never kill ape and then to start breaking it. Once again, if these movies were more planned out, maybe in a previous one we would have seen ape kill ape, and it would have been something that this is a result of, and now we have to challenge it. I think when you get to the new movies, there's a reason why the ape shall never kill ape kind of mantra is there.
Yeah, they could have had apes fighting each other for sport, and then that's where Caesar gets thrown in with that, and that's when he decides ape must never kill ape again, or that's when he enforces that, and that plays off in later movies.
Right. So I think we have another weird thing in this that we need to discuss, and that, as far as I know, this is the first time we've called this African-American gentleman McDonald.
Yeah.
So we know by looking at this gentleman that this is not the same actor.
No, but at this point, I don't know if they're sort of trying to say he is the same character. A Iron Man 2 switch with Don Cheadle being the same character, just walking in saying, "Yeah, I look different. Get over it."
Right. I wouldn't have picked up that this is McDonald or a different McDonald or the McDonald or
Yeah.
So if I can dial back to that, because I am not the Marvel aficionado you guys are, I don't remember when Don Cheadle came in. Did they acknowledge that he looked different?
It was pretty much like that. He walks in and goes, "Yeah, I look a little different. Get over it."
Okay.
I think is what he said.
Okay. I couldn't remember when you said that. I thought, it's been a long, long time since I've done that. And by the way, we're also going to have to discuss WandaVision in the
in between. Well, I was just going to kind of bring that back for a second. We don't know that we're dealing with two different multiverse versions. Maybe both actors will come back for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness or the Spider-Man movie.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll get them both. Okay, so
to be
back to Apes.
to be very, very plainly obvious, Harry Rhodes played McDonald in Conquest, and in this film,
I actually found the line. Hang on, real quick. I found the line. Don Cheadle said it. He goes, "Look, it's me. I'm here. Deal with it. Let's move on."
Okay. So in the first film, in Conquest, we had Harry Rhodes. In this one, we have Austin Stoker. It does not explain at this point why the difference. I do know the difference that Harry Rhodes was not available to shoot this film. He could not do it, and that was the reason they decided to simply put a new person in place. For the geeks in the world, and I being one of them, the great 1976 John Carpenter film, Assault on Precinct 13. Oscar Stoker was in that.
Precinct 13?
If you've never seen that movie, it is freaking awesome. So every time I see him in this, I want to go back to Assault on Precinct 13. He's a great actor. You're not losing anything. It's just very odd that we switch and we don't explain. And I certainly hope it's not the case of thinking you can just put another black person in place.
Well, he's also styled a little bit differently than the rest of the humans in the village as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's not wearing the black turtleneck, but he is wearing a turtleneck. So they're at least trying to make a connection between him and McDonald from the prior movie, because he is dressed slightly different than everybody else. I mean, it's still, random kind of safari gear with a tucked in shirt and a belt, but he's got a turtleneck on, and the color scheme is just a little bit different than all the other humans are in the village.
And Mr. Stoker's still alive, still with us. He is still working too. Just had a film come out in 2020, Double Down. So the guy's still cranking it out. Was born in 1943, so not that old at all. Wasn't
he in the that Planet of the Apes con virtual thing that they had recently? Wasn't he in that that photo montage of people you were going to be able to actually talk to at some point?
It may have been. I honestly have not seen that, Richard.
I think I tagged you in one of the Facebook things. It was some type of virtual Planet of the Apes thing.
Oh, you Facebook kid!
About a month ago.
Yeah, I think you did, and I remember it had Paul Williams in it, and yeah, I'll have to look at that again. I don't know for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so we have this moment where Aldo tries to run him down with all the gorillas, and he's very cavalier about it. You don't even get the sense that he is, the way that it's framed to me, it doesn't even look like he's trying necessarily to hurt Caesar as much as just kind of charge towards that area. They didn't before, McDonald kind of pulls him out of the way.
Right.
I think the thing that kind of bothered me more than anything else was how casual Caesar was about this entire moment. He gets yanked out of the way, and he's like,
and then
I think Aldo may be ready for a fall. Yeah.
Yeah, he does have that kind of blasé, like, well, nothing will affect me. And you kind of wish in these moments where you're going to have these point-counterpoint type things that there would be a little push.
Well, for all we know,
a little more attention.
This has happened.
I'm sorry,
he's
Sean?
like, oh, yeah, he's tried to run me down multiple times.
Yeah, for all we know, this is not the first time this has happened.
That is true, but okay, if that's the case, shouldn't we say it? Shouldn't McDonald be chasing after him? You can't continue to try and assault Caesar. Shouldn't he say something like that so we get that?
They're on
idea?
horseback. He can't catch up with them. Come on.
Okay.
Maybe humans aren't allowed to ride horses. I don't know.
Well,
we're not that deep into the movie yet.
I do.
So
go ahead, Richard.
I was going to say, if it didn't feel odd, that jump to the kitchen, it's because there were some more scenes involving children playing war that didn't really make it into the cut. They really just jumped straight from, I think all's ready to fall to being inside and talking about, what's the next line? Because it's like 2 pages, 3 pages in before we get there.
Talking about his parents, the most awkward way to phrase
my mother and father, who I
was too young to know.
Yeah.
I mean, does McDonald know about his parents? Is this a story he's heard before? If it is, why is he doing this exposition? It's just purely for the audience. I mean, McDonald at this point should have been saying, you've never talked about your parents before, or something like that.
Or, anytime you have these exposition moments that are those catch the audience up, I always feel like there is a way to conversationally make this work. I've known Sean for half my life. He knows my idiosyncratic moments of what I may do when I tell a story. And if I were telling this, he'd go, "We've heard this before, Todd." He might do that. Somebody in that room should have said, "Caesar, we know." Or at least it could have been that person to say, "We know," and it makes it seem less stilted, like I'm stopping to tell you a part of the story you don't know so you can follow.
It feels very like a theatrical, like a stage play, like you're doing this for the audience.
Yeah.
So once I think Aldo may be ready for a fall, we then jump to the house where Cornelius is playing with a friend named Jimmy, and they're having kind of